Hi guys and welcome back to the Mighty Blues. My name is of course Cameron. It is the player ratings then. Crystal Palace 4, Everton 0. Everton crash out of the FA Cup with another embarrassing, disgraceful performance, another embarrassing defeat. Frank Lampard has had some things to say about it, but we're not going to get into them because, quite frankly, I can't be arsed talking about what Frank Lampard's spoken about. I think he said something along the lines of, we allowed Crystal Palace to play at 70%, or we played at 70%, and 70% isn't good enough, and we allowed Crystal Palace a buy into the next round without them having to really work for it, or something like that. Doesn't matter, does it really? Because we're out. It was another disgraceful performance. It was another terrible afternoon to be an Evertonian. And yeah, as I said in the instant match reaction, I'm numb to it now. I'm getting numb to it. I'm getting to that point now where these types of results, these types of performances are just what we become to expect, and what we just have to expect, and just we can either let it ruin our weekend, or we can just put it behind us, say fuck it, and go and do what we're doing. And that's what I'm trying to do a little bit more, because I've allowed Everton to ruin so many weekends of my life that it's getting to the point now where I think, why am I doing it? Why am I doing it? But anyway, we've done the instant match reaction. We've got through all of that. If you weren't at the instant match reaction, as I said, don't be expecting me to sit here and scream and shout and have a go and this, that, and the other, because A, I just haven't got the energy for it, partly because I had a long day yesterday and I'm knackered, but also B, as I said, it's a feeling of expectation. It's just a numbness to it now, so I haven't even got the energy to care to care to scream and shout anymore, because they're just an absolute disgrace, a lot of them. But anyway, let's get into it. Jordan Pickford in goal, obviously coming in for Asmir Begovic, who was ill. Nothing we could do about that. Had he have been fit, he probably would have started, because A, Jordan Pickford has been ill, but also B, he was very good against Newcastle. Jordan is going to get a 5. In fact, no, Jordan can get a 5. I don't particularly think he was awful. Was he at fault for a couple of the goals? But he certainly wasn't at fault for the first two. The third one, maybe he could have been a bit more switched on, but again, the back line, none of them are switched on. And the fourth one, he actually makes a really, really good save. And again, the back line, none of them are switched on. So I don't think he was particularly at fault for any of the goals. His distribution today wasn't great. His kicking wasn't great. His commanding of his area wasn't great. And ultimately, he conceded 4 goals. It wasn't his best performance by any stretch of the imagination. But I also don't particularly think he was absolutely dreadful. So yeah, he can have a 5, because why not? On to the back line. Then I'm actually going to have to check the team because I forgot. Back 3. We'll go with how it looks on Google. Back 3, Ben Godfrey. Ben Godfrey's getting a 2 today. Thought he was poor. Again, he formed part of a defensive line which is just an absolute fucking shambles. As I said in the instant match reaction, for people to compare that defensive line to a championship defence is very, very harsh on championship defenders. And if I was a championship defender, I would actually be very, very, very annoyed and offended by being compared to that Everton defence. Listen, Ben Godfrey's the best out of that bunch. Certainly whilst Yerry Mina is out injured, but he wasn't particularly great today, and he hasn't been particularly great for a while. Ben Godfrey all season, really. I know he's been out injured. I know he struggled with COVID at the start of the season, which obviously had a massive effect on him, but he hasn't had anywhere near as good of a season as what he did last year. Again today he formed part of a back line that just weren't particularly very good, and therefore ultimately he can't get higher than what is a 2. Mason Allgate next to him. Mason Allgate is getting a 1. Positional wise, shocking. Defensive wise, shocking. He just is footballing IQ. His defensive IQ is embarrassing. We're talking about a Premier League footballer here who's been a Premier League footballer for 4, 5, 6 years and still turns his back whenever an opposition player has the ball. Not only whenever an opposition player has the ball and works and is looking like he's going to get a shot away or looking like he's going to curl one in. As soon as an opposition player, as soon as Eze or Elise or Zaha or anybody like that had the ball within 10 yards of our goal, he just turns his back. He's absolutely shite at football. He shouldn't be anywhere near Everton. The kid can't defend. He's fucking awful. He wouldn't be out of place in League 2, if we're being honest. And he's getting a 1 today. Michael Keane next to him. He can get a 1.5. I thought he was probably marginally better than Mason Holgate, and probably at fault for less than Mason Holgate. But the reality is, again, the three of them, for the third and fourth goals, stood round and effectively just watched it unfold in front of them. They were the three of them were absolutely abysmal, and Michael Keane forms part of that. And again, Michael Keane is nowhere near good enough to play for Everton. Absolutely nowhere near good enough to play for Everton. Here we are, starting week in, week out, and forming part of a back line that is just depressingly bad. It truly is. So yeah, that's the back three. Onto the full-backs then, wing-backs. Well, you're not wing-backs, are they? Because they didn't get forward or didn't do anything. But John Joe Kenny. John Joe can get a 2 as well. Yeah, just not very good at footy, is he really? Not very good defensively. Not very good at keeping a defensive line. Not very good going forward. So his defensive frailties that aren't even made up for with somebody who is attacking and furious and plays balls into the box going forward. He's just an average footballer, a bang average footballer. He's again the type of footballer that if you watched him on a Sunday afternoon down your local park playing in a green and yellow stripy kit for the Sunday League team, who works as a plumber on his days, not playing for the Sunday League team, you wouldn't think he was out of place. It's as simple as that, and these are the players that have got to get Everton out of a relegation battle in the Premier League. Yeah, worrying to say the least. Really, really worrying to say the least. Not very good. Not very good. I'm not going to spend too much time on him. He's getting a 2. Seamus Coleman, the next side to him, he's getting a 1. Both fullbacks, to be fair, wide, wing backs, wide, whatever you want to call them, didn't stop a single cross coming into the box all game. We conceded the first 2 goals because of crosses coming into the box, despite the fact that we know that that's our biggest weakness, and that pretty much every goal we concede comes from a ball coming into the box. We didn't stop any of them, and I think both fullbacks were culprit to that. And Seamus again today was poor. He was all over the place. He was awful. And the reality of the situation is, as I've said time and time again, he shouldn't be starting games of football for Everton. But here we are in a relegation battle, and he's still starting games of football for Everton. Just atrocious. Absolutely atrocious. Abdoulaye Doucouré in there next to him then. Obviously, Frank Lampard's hands were tied a little bit with his selection for midfielders, because the only 2 fit midfielders we had were Doucouré and Allan. Doucouré and Gomez. Allan is obviously suspended. Donny van der Beek is cup-tied, as is Dele Alli. Tom Davies is injured. Fabian Delph's a knobhead. Jean-Philippe Gbamin's out on loan and actually scored today and got man of the match. So there you go. But anyway, Abdoulaye Doucouré is getting a 1. Worst performance in an Everton shirt by a mile. And to be fair, well, not to be fair, but to be honest, it looked like one of the only sort of, not the only, but it looked like the type of a performance from Abdoulaye Doucouré. One of the first performances I've seen of him like this, where he didn't really look arsed. And you can't really say that typically about Abdoulaye Doucouré. More often than not, when he's there, when he's playing, he looks bothered. He looks like he cares. He looks like he wants to, he wants to be involved. He wants to, he wants to work hard. And even if sometimes he's not very good, even if sometimes his ability lets him down or whatever, he always looks like he's there to work. He always looks like he cares. He always looks like he wants to be involved. But today he just didn't look interested. He wasn't really battling for any ball. I think the first 2 goals were his fault. I don't think he was the only person at fault, but I think he gave up on them. I think he didn't sack his man. I think he allowed the ball to just basically be played in front of him. And yeah, he was awful today. He was absolutely dreadful, so he's getting a 1. Andre Gomez next to him is also getting a 1, because how that lad still plays football for Everton is beyond me. He's not a Premier League footballer. He's not quick enough. He's not good enough. He's not agile enough. He hasn't got enough stamina. He hasn't got enough pace. He just hasn't got enough anything to warrant still being at this football club. And yeah, therefore he's getting a 1. And then the 3 up front, Townsend obviously. I'm going to give Townsend a 6.5, to be fair, because I think whilst he was on the pitch, he worked hard, he battled, and obviously he was only on the pitch for that period in which we actually looked good. and we were actually on top, and then he went off with an injury. Obviously, wishing him a very speedy recovery. Hopefully, it's nothing too serious, but he can have a 6.5. I don't think he was a blame for anything today. And as I said, for the time that he was on the pitch, we actually looked relatively half decent. So, yeah, he can get a 6.5. Anthony Gordon on the other side, I'm going to give Anthony Gordon a 4 today. He just wasn't very good. It's as simple as that. And I will sit here and I will say that because, you know, I love Anthony Gordon. I think he always gives everything, and I think it's always 110%. And I think it was 110% from him today as well. I think he gave absolutely everything today. But the reality of the situation is that he wasn't very good. And you know, we can sit here and we can admit that. There's times we can sit here and say, yes, he gives everything. Yes, he works hard. Yes, you know, he battles and everything like that. But his end product isn't good enough, and you know, he just wasn't very good today. He wasn't very good, so he's getting a 4. Who haven't I done? And then Richarlison can get a 3 as well. You know, yeah. Yeah, he can get a 3. Yeah, again, work right there, works hard, battles, you know, obviously wants to win, shows that desire, shows that commitment, shows that energy, shows that determination. But reality was, he didn't have an awful lot of chances today, didn't have an awful lot of service, but he wasn't very good either. So I'm not going to sit here and overhype him because he wasn't very good. Onto the substitutes bench then. Who did we bring on? Alex Iwobi can get a 4. Did he really do anything? Maybe he had the ball a couple of times. Maybe he made a couple of half-decent passes. But other than that, he didn't do anything. Dominic Calvert-Lewin's getting a 3. Again, didn't have any effect on the game whatsoever. No effect. And if Dominic Calvert-Lewin wants to move in the summer, then performances like that certainly won't help. And I'm not saying it's his fault, but he didn't have any effect on the game whatsoever. And Damari Gray can get a 3 as well. To be fair, I'm more disappointed with Damari Gray because he was on the pitch for longer and didn't have any effect on the game. You know, Calvert-Lewin and Iwobi were on the pitch for, you know, 20-25 minutes. I know Calvert-Lewin was on for 45 minutes. He come on at half time, didn't he? But Damari Gray was on for a good 60-70 minutes and had absolutely no effect on the game. So, yeah, look, there you go. Frank Lampard gets a 1. Set us up wrong. Constant system changes, constant formation changes, constant personnel changes aren't going to help anything. And we're now out of the FA Cup. But yeah, look, there you go. They are the player ratings, short and sweet. As I said, I'm not allowing these knobheads to A, waste any more of the time, that the precious time that life is, but also B, ruin me weekend for any longer. So yeah, massive thank you to everybody for watching. If you have enjoyed this one, please hit that like button. It does only take a second. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. We'll be back tomorrow with the game review, so look out for that one. If you haven't checked out the instant match reaction, please do so. It only takes a second. Big thank you for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and we'll see you soon on the Mighty Blues.